So this is just a little random pop-in video that I kind of it came to mind because I've slowly been collecting stamps by playing this game mode. Obviously by, you guys know well enough that obviously if you go in here, you can check out the stamps, check out what they do for characters. Giku made a video talking about Tozens, for example, who has a pretty incredible one. And it's like I said, nothing to really go over that isn't, relevant information that you've already seen a bunch of, as well as when you consider things like the actual weapons that characters get. But it sort of got me thinking about the power of characters and how much they change when you actually have these materials, when you actually have access to these super strong, components. And it's because I was actually running mine. You can see I'm down to 8 of these stamps in total. I was actually running mine and I hit a big one. I hit Scheme Under Hat, as it were, which is the one, is a core stamp for Kisuke Urahara. And it says that he enters a stealth for 5 seconds after releasing the ultimate technique, during which the technique button will be activated and replaced with Bakudo number 4. Tapping the technique button or switching characters instantly releases this technique. Bakudo number 4, Hainawa, pulls enemies within range toward the center for 6 seconds, dealing damage equal to 560% of attack. When it ends, further damage is dealt to affected enemies equal to 25% of damage received during the technique up to Urahara's base attack. Release Bakudo number 4, Hanamura also grants 1 stack of his Reishi analysis to the entire team, which is, of course, his buff that he just increases attack with, right? And as I got access to this thing, 6-star stamp, you can see that I have a 5-star here. And then more importantly, I have the core stamp here for Yoruichi, who is using her to Ascended. Wow, did I get multiple? That's crazy. Yoruichi will not stop showing up, man. Yoruichi is haunting me. But all this is to say that you can see that I have the core stamp here for Yoruichi, which is increases duration of Shunko by 5 seconds, increases spiritual pressure charge rate of Shunko by an extra 40%, and gives her increased damage by 110%. And all of these things are really important because they sort of round out her toolkit in helping her continue to do what she wants to do, right? Because when she successfully dodges an attack, she gains access to her Stomping Strike immediately. And this is just giving her a ton of time. While in Shunko form, she gains an extra 50%, right? It just gives her a ton of extra time to be doing her fast blitzes. You really start to notice how important these things are. And like I said, I guess the revelation, why are you here? Why am I talking over and over again about these, stamp cards and stuff? It just gave me a bit of insight into how important these are, because when we're coming into the game and everyone is sort of sprawling and they're going mad and they're like, you gotta pull this SR, you gotta pull this SR, you gotta get all these characters. When I pose the question to free-to-play players, because I am a free-to-play player, there's no money spent on this account. I say it, at least a few times every so often, because I think it is sort of important for gacha games to have a free-to-play player representing them whenever possible. I know in Dokkan, like I say, that I do spend on the subscription, but if you actually compare that to any sort of actual whaling or even dolphining, like $10 a month in Dokkan doesn't really mean shit, right? So if I'm saving, I always say, if I'm saving, you're saving. So while I'm saving, while I'm seeing how strong some of these characters get, you're seeing Yoruichi at 24,000 with her weapon as well, right? And she is my fullest character. I have hit everything for Yoruichi. Don't ask me how. I won't be able to explain it to you. Baby girl came home. You know what I mean? She just came home. Wield the damn blade of my soul. She came home. In a lot of ways, I felt pretty unlucky in this account just because I would have rather had more characters rather than dupes, rather than only Yoruichi's stamp, rather than only Yoruichi's weapon, you know what I mean? I would rather just had more characters. But imagine if I was the biggest Yoruichi fan in the world, my account is like their dream account, because I can't, as a free-to-play player, I just keep getting everything that Yoruichi wants. In the case of Urahara, the thing I noticed was this character. Look at my Komamura. Komamura was 1,000 power ahead of Urahara before I got his stamp, his core stamp. I got that stamp randomly, you know, free to play just from that event, and he shot up 4,000 power. I think, if I'm not crazy, I'm pretty sure he was at 12,000 and now he's 17,000. I'm pretty sure. And the actual effect of the stamp, what the stamp is doing, is just so strong. If it's reading, if it works the way I think it works, which is to say that I put it down, I switch to someone like Yoruichi, and the Yoruichi just does her entire blitz, I do all of my damage, which is also what you already want to do after you use your Urahara's ult, right? You want to switch and use like your main DPS's buttons. If that's how that works, like, it just unlocks a depth to this character that wasn't entirely there before, and it's why I'm sort of starting to think like I'm really feeling solid on what I said about things like Hitsugaya, about what I said about like pulling for certain characters without really thinking, without, you know, because there's nothing wrong with pulling. I mean, look, I got no free-to-play pulls. I've been using them 60 out of 80. I'm definitely gonna go to I'm definitely gonna end up going to pity because I cannot get lucky on the standard character banner. But it just makes me think of like how undersold I think it is to people, how like strong these stamps and these weapons are, and how they like transform the character. Like, my Urahara is not doing the same thing as your Urahara now. My ultimate is a complete, like Kisuke's ultimate is a completely different thing than yours is if you don't have that stamp. And while this stamp, like I said, is free to play, excuse me, a little cough there, my bad. While it is completely free to play, you know, obviously I'm not you know, I'm not saying that like this is like such a miraculous thing that you can't get or anything. I'm just saying that it's putting into perspective how important these hits are. Like, releasing special attacks generates an additional sword wave, which also grants 1 stack of ratio analysis to the entire team, increasing maximum ratio stacks to 6, increases special attack damage. Like, this is crazy, you know? It's why I've like settled on his as well, you know? It's why, you know, I'm kind of haven't settled on old Komamura, who continues to, you know, not really show up for me. But it's just to say, like I said, that like I'm really putting together sort of the image in my mind of, you know, well, Bleach Soul Resonance, pity 80, guaranteed no 50/50, but the more I play with the characters, like, yeah, I kind of do want their weapon when it comes around. You know what I want? You know what I mean? Like, if I was playing Bankai Ichigo, I don't really get how you could pull for this character and not pull for his stamp. You know, I'm sure there will be ones that are less important. Like, I feel like this one's probably not as important. I could be wrong. Tozen's is obviously insane. Ikaku's is insane. Byakuya seems good. And again, these don't, that's not to say that like that's the same power level as going to the stamp list, but I bet if I went into the stamp list, I'd be pretty impressed by a lot of them as well. Bankai Ichigo's while Holify the counter button can be manually tapped to launch counterattacks like crazy. Ikaku's while in Bankai, each time a special attack follow-up attack is triggered, the next slow Hozukimaru gains a 50% after entering all damage dealt is 30% for, like, these are pretty nuts. Releasing the battlefield skill, Tenkan Ascension Charge Strike reduces the strike resistance of all enemies, and by an extra 6% if at least 10 stacks of build-up are consumed. Last return increases all, yeah, like, I don't know, like I said. Thankfully, all of this stuff is free to play, and you will just get it through time, which is amazing. But yeah, I hope this was not like illuminating, like, oh my god, you need to think of, you know, really ponder this or anything. Really think about what I'm saying here. No. It's not, you know, I'm not talking down to anyone like, oh my god, this is the most important thing in the game. No, it's just that it has sort of continued to impress me how deep these characters go, how much to them there is. Because when I got that card just now, I was just like, oh cool, what's he gonna get? Like, just stats? And it just unlocked like another thing, another animation, another, you know, imagine if I was playing Dokkan or Dragon Ball Legends, and because I didn't have like a supporter or something like that, or like equipment, my character just didn't do like an animation or a special thing. Like, that would kind of suck, right? Like I want to see those, you know, I want to see those animations, I want to see those things. I want to play with the full character. So yeah, a lot to think about for me. Hopefully this is just a fun little rambling video for you. Hopefully it gets your, you know, maybe our priorities align and you sort of get what I'm coming from. But yeah, very exciting. I think this is one of the rare games where getting the equipment in Epic 7, this would be considered a special artifact or something like that. It's like a unique artifact where it literally gives them an ability that they didn't have. So getting these stamps, getting these weapons, I see the appeal. I see what Billy's cooking. I see what Nuverse is cooking. Again, Bleach has still just remained one of the more deep and interesting gacha I've played. A really fun ARPG. If you're wondering, like, oh, well, what's your other experience? I've played thousands of hours of Path of Exile. I do like killing monsters in this game. Killing monsters in the game is very fun. It feels good to press your buttons. Path of Exile is a game where the game relies on you feeling good when you press your buttons. So, not that I'm comparing those two, you know, this game could never, you know, live up to like Path of Exile, obviously. It's not meant to, but it is cool to feel like that itch of like, man, my buttons are really responsive, my movement feels good, and my characters continue to just get deeper and deeper. I think that's awesome. So yeah, another win for Bleach fans. Like if you like the video, subscribe to the club. We all go make it, and peace.